Welcome everyone to this week's episode of the Full Send Rejects. We're your hosts, Kodack, Rose, and Billy. I made the same mistake I did last week. I didn't tell you guys I put your names in here.
Yeah.
We'll get it
You were
one week.
Also, Kodack.
Yeah, but I'm known as Kodack. When Anderson says Kodack, I'm the one that answers. So,
No. Now, when people say Kodak, you say which one?
I can remember the past few times your sister said Kodak and you did not answer. And I did.
Well, because she refers to me as asshole.
Yeah, well, I'm about to as well. So,
You're not getting an ocelot.
So I know I just said I made the same mistake last week, but last week we kind of had an impromptu week off because despite all odds, we all managed to get really sick in consecutive days. Don't know how we did it, but, we did it.
Yeah, Liz is getting it now.
Oh, take that, Liz. But we are back, and this week we'll be talking about how the U.S. government sucks, some awareness about stalkers. Hopefully you're still doing that. And experiments conducted by Stanford. Billy, hope you're still doing that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, awesome. So first, as always, we'll be starting off with our pre-topic banter with a dedication to ocelots.
We're not getting an ocelot.
We're getting a goddamn ocelot. It is legal. There's 150 wild ones in this country. South of this country. $50 to get a permit in this Commonwealth, Pennsylvania. This great Commonwealth that allows this to happen. We're going to get an ocelot.
And it costs $0 to make a baby.
It costs a lot afterwards.
So does an ocelot.
A lot less than a baby. Let's both run up financial reports. You go look into how much it costs to raise a child, and I will, from 0 to 18.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, you have to go past 18 because Obamacare makes us, pay for health insurance until 26. Thanks, Obama. I will run the average cost of an ocelot.
Okay. Don't forget, the $20,000 you got to spend in renovating a living area.
Nah, I can throw it in the basement.
No, you can't.
I'll do the garage.
So choose on a gas line and blows us all up.
Babu!
No, Babu! No more Shot Shack. It's the.
We'll go. No.
Yeah, it's first the ocelot now.
No.
Ocelot cave.
I'm drawing the line in the sand.
Ocelot.
No. Shot Shack.
That's what the bus is for.
He's right. I can get the bus. He hook up with heating and whatnot because people do live on buses, not just the homeless. But
it's totally doable. Make the whole thing like the amusement park for him. Oh yeah.
I need you to do. Billy. How about instead of a financial report, I need you to do a health and wellness report on all the reasons why it's safe to have an ocelot.
We have snakes that come in here every single year, and it hunts snakes and mice.
Checkmate.
We also have
anteaters, just in case.
There's also this thing called a pest control company that you are highly aware of. You're actually representing one of the shirts today.
How many times do they come here to take care of these mice?
You also can take care of them.
With an ocelot, yes, you're correct.
No.
Bus full of ocelots. Think about it.
A bus-a-lot.
Home protection year-round.
Billy.
It's okay. A bus full of ocelots. A bus-a-lots.
No. Yeah, they'll protect you.
We're hearing sounds from Billy's side. We hear traffic.
That's just me giggling still.
No, we're not getting ocelots. Your ADHD mind will soon focus and shift your attention on something else.
You realize I wrote down on a calendar about ocelots, right? So if I forget about it, I'm going to remember come May.
Yeah.
And we'll find a way to correlate
it. And I wrote it on my phone.
We'll find a way to tie it in. The bus, the ocelots, his next clever idea.
Plus, we got Billy on this now. We're two halves of a whole idiot, so...
Is Billy going to move in and clean up the fucking cat-sized dog, or the fucking shit that the ocelot's going to fucking...
Well, we did go before that. I found out that they are very good shitters, as they go in one spot. And if Billy could with an ocelot, I'm sure he would.
Yeah.
Yeah, so boom.
Billy would be an appetizer to the fucking ocelot.
They don't eat people, okay? They're about 30 inches tall. long. Yeah, long.
Yeah, they're not like tiger size.
Yeah, they're mini jaguars.
If it's hungry enough, it will eat people.
Well, yeah, so will a fucking 2 dogs, and
Rachel will. Rachel will be the first to eat me.
Is that her name in the ocelot, Rachel?
No, that's her. That's his cat's
No,
name. Orange.
Oh yeah, actually, yeah. House cats will do that. If you die, they will eat you without a second thought.
She would eat me alive.
Yeah, see? Fucking, we have a cat here that attacks us every single day.
You know what? You and Billy are so on board with this. Why don't you and Billy go buy a property, and you and Billy in this ocelot can live all together in harmony?
Billy, I do have the VA loan.
This is the start of a cult, isn't it?
0 down payment with the VA loan.
This is how we do it.
Get a cheap property just for the ocelot.
You're sacrificing some things, sir.
I'll come visit.
No. Once those doors are shut, they are shut for good.
We'll ride the ocelot back in.
Let's see what the ocelot can do for you.
Oh, you'd be surprised.
Why is there peanut butter on your credit card?
Credit card?
Oh, it got worse.
Oh, okay. Now moving on from that.
It gets worse.
Yeah, I forgot what I wrote for this week, so it probably does get worse.
Agent Orange.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
It gets worse.
Oh, it gets worse.
Yeah, it gets a little worse. Yeah, okay. Well, before we get there, what we tried doing last week is predictions for football, because it's playoffs. And I know not all of our listeners watch or listen to football or watch football. So this is the point you want to skip ahead. Feel free. Because we're going to do a little our thoughts what happened this past weekend, and then our thoughts for this coming weekend. Just to try and do it quick. The first game, Billy, Flacco.
What am I? Oh, we're doing a recap.
Yeah.
I spaced out. Sorry.
Don't worry, we'll recap what I said about the recaps.
Okay, cool. Yeah, Flacco, the dragon was slayed.
Sleepy Joe Flacco?
Oh, that's too far.
Threw to the wrong team.
He was just helping the Ravens.
He threw to the Shroud Boys. Flacco sucks. Shroud Boys are great. Which one of you was saying the Dolphins were going to win?
I did.
Same.
And remember when I said that the Chiefs of Walrus is the head coach?
Yeah.
And then we saw Ice forming his mustache because he didn't give a shit. And then they won.
Yeah, that's a pretty bold move.
Listen, I'm not going to this who I think is going to win. I'm going here based off of vibes.
Yeah, Andy Reid got those playoff vibes again.
He does. Rams, I forget who. We didn't get this far, I don't think. I was going Lions all the way.
Oh, yeah. That was a good game.
That was a great game.
I went Lions. You would not believe how many times they took a camera shot of Eminem.
I gotta support Matty Stafford though.
So on that note, are we pro or anti Detroit booing Matt Stafford? And possibly booing his kids.
I was all for it. Classic
I'm
Detroit.
anti-booing Stafford.
They probably stole the tires off his car.
Billy, were you pro or anti booing Stafford?
Don't boo Stafford.
See, I'm pro Detroit doing it because it's fucking playoffs. This is the fact that they allegedly, according to Stafford's wife, booed the kids as well. That is their first home playoff game in 30 years. They can do whatever they want.
They were booing so loud he couldn't even hear himself.
Oh yeah, they hold 2 timeouts.
I don't give a shit about his kids. Fuck his kids.
No, Detroit. I'm so happy for that city. We actually got to watch part of that game because we didn't watch Saturday because a bunch of us went bowling.
We sure did.
What a good time.
Good job,
we
us.
We didn't put that in the pre-topic, did we?
No, because I just remembered it now.
Yeah, that was a thing.
Listen, I'm sure more things will come up as we go along here.
And the biggest drink that's ever been ordered.
Oh my god, that was fantastic. That Mexican restaurant we went, I should say Mexican, Spanish restaurant, because they had other cultures there.
Mm-hmm.
You sure did.
El Boulevard in Wilkes-Barre. Or Wilkes-Barre. Liz ordered that drink, and it was big.
Oh, flirting in Miami.
She wasn't ready.
May as well come in a fucking fish tank.
Meanwhile, I order the fish drink, and it comes in a little fish bowl.
It was a tiny little drink. The glass was heavy, though. However, that wasn't... I would go back there just for like 3 of those, and I'd be flying.
I had a classy mojito.
You are very, very classy with your fresh, muddled...
You're a classy
drinks.
bitch.
Yeah.
It's summer vibes in the winter.
Yeah.
Well, if they have like halfway to Christmas things, halfway to summer.
It's July 4th half.
There you go. Exactly. Let's have some fireworks. Fireworks and barbecue. The next game, Packers and Cowboys.
Ooh.
Didn't we watch like all of it?
Yeah. We didn't. No, you're not.
Oh my god, that game made me so happy.
Here we go.
I messaged, like halfway through the game, I messaged Mike. I'm like, hey, buddy. 2 hours after the game, hey, what's up? So is this your year? Shut the fuck up.
Not only did they get beat, but they got beat by 7th seed.
Yeah, first 7th seed to win a playoff game.
And score that many points.
Yeah, Aaron Jones 3 touchdowns.
Now he does good, but when he was playing fantasy, fucker was injured half the time. He was questionable or he wasn't playing. But no, playoffs are here.
Ain't that about a bitch?
It is. I'm telling you, bro. All the players that are sitting there playing, man. I'm like, oh, now you guys want to fucking act like you ain't shit in the bed?
Yeah. Green Bay started off 27-0.
Yeah, that was embarrassing.
Dak didn't have a single passing yard in the first quarter, yet ended up with 403 passing yards.
Dude, I don't know how he does it.
No, that was awesome to watch.
That was hard to watch.
And they're keeping Mike McCarthy as their head coach, which is funny because he got fired from Green Bay for getting the playoffs and then shit in the bed.
Yeah, and McCarthy's track record's not great. We're definition of insanity.
Yeah, well, speaking of doing the same thing every year, expecting a different result, Pittsburgh lost to the Bills.
See, that was bullshit, though. There were so many calls. Those refs.
Oh, my God, the refs.
Josh Allen was sucking some major dick to get those refs to do some...
Well, here's the thing. Okay, first of all, Mason Rudolph came out bad. He did. He threw that pick near the end. And who was it? Was it Deontay? No. Pickens fumbled. That didn't help. But then it became this thing where penalty called on Josh Allen for getting hit while sliding. Then Joey Porter Jr. takes a shot from the back, gets concussed, nothing happens. And then Josh Allen fake slides and then runs for a touchdown.
Not only that, but there was, if you go back and you look at it, Pickens was being held. Like, there were so many holding calls. Like, they had his jersey, they were holding his helmet. It saw it like 3 or 4 times, and they turned the other cheek.
Well, that happens every game.
Yeah, but they're gonna bring in like replay shit.
And Buffalo's team, like their fans are terrible. They were throwing snowballs at the players.
That was dick.
Like,
yeah, you can't be doing that. You can't be. The one didn't interfere, but if it did, it would have been.
I would have jumped up.
There would have been a riot. Like one thing that I kind of found funny they did, which I would have done in the same situation, was they're trying to shovel snow onto the Pittsburgh side, or the fans were at. That's kind of funny. I get it. And I saw that one video. Yeah. I saw that one video where a bunch of Buffalo fans were jumping off snow piles into tables that were on fire.
Because they're fucking retarded.
Yeah, they have some issues.
I watched deathmatch wrestling all week, so I'm for it.
So you also watched the Buffalo game because their fans were doing that.
Yep.
Oh, and then it got worse.
Yeah,
it got worse. Yeah.
I mean, going into this, as much as we love our team, we knew it wouldn't last long.
Yeah, there wasn't much hope. I mean, there was a chance for him to be spooky. I was happy to get into the playoffs.
Wish you would.
No, there's no like a month ago, there was like not even a single thought that there was going to be a playoff game. They somehow did it. Next year's going to be interesting. because they said Kenny's the starter, but expect competition. Tomlin's going to be back for next year. Ownership says he's going to get extended. Who knows what's going to happen?
I like your take on it. I can't wait to join you.
We'll get there. We'll get there. Don't worry. Because the last game, and this one's kind of sad, the Bucks over the Eagles. Jason Kelce retired, then not retired. Nick Sirianni got some popcorn.
Yeah. Oh, that deputy was so funny.
Kind of says how shitty like Philadelphia fans can be, though. They won a Super Bowl, get an NFC title, and then, granted, this year kind of went south real quick, and they just turn on everybody.
They won a Super Bowl and destroyed their own city.
Yeah, but you think like,
so what do you think they're going to do if they lose?
I know, but still, like your team has been mostly irrelevant since McNabb, and before then they haven't really won anything since since the '60s, before there was a Super Bowl. Sirianni comes in, does everything he can there, wins a title, wins an NFC championship, and then they made some bad calls with the coach and staff near the second half of the year. Patricia, oh God, what's his name? Matt Patricia. They put him in charge of the offense, which that's when everything fell apart. Go figure, because he's a fucking pile of dog shit.
Awesome.
Yeah, look at Matt Patricia's entire history as a coach, and it is terrible everywhere he goes.
Do not reduce Ocelots to that level.
I said dog shit. Wait, you said Ocelot shit?
I said Ocelot shit.
Ocelots are way above him.
Yeah, Ocelots are better than Matt Patricia.
Their shit is way better than him.
Exactly. But for next week's games, get some predictions in here. First one is the Texans at Ravens. Billy.
Texans. Sorry.
Billy, is that you?
Yes.
Oh. Okay, Rose, go ahead.
Oh, Texans. Kodack.
Look at me, I have multiple personalities.
What I want to happen is the Ravens to win, obviously. Mm-hmm. But I don't have faith. The Texans are gonna win.
You want to go to the game?
Do I want to go to the game?
Yeah, oh my God, they're like $90 a ticket. Holy shit!
I don't have $90, man.
Hey, we gotta plan these things out.
Yeah, playoff tickets are wild.
Well, it's wild because last week to go to the Buffalo game, it'd be like $100-something, like $140, $150. But like the Detroit game was over $300.
Jesus.
Oh yeah,
the Chiefs game was fucking like $30 at one point.
Yeah, because it was like negative degrees.
Yeah, the Walrus had actual ice on them.
Yeah, fucking respect it. So we're for the Stroud boys over here. We assume you're for Baltimore.
For yes, believe no.
Let's see, Marlon Humphrey is still out.
Questionable, and Mark Andrews is back.
It says Marlon Humphrey out.
Oh, bitch.
Updated today. Oh, wait, hold on. Return date, January 28th. That's in 10 days.
Fuck. Last I saw, it was questionable.
Yeah, ESPN here says he's out. Hi, Breezy.
Oh, yeah. Flappy flap over here.
Yeah, I'm for the Stroud boys. Next, we got this is a big one. Packers and the 49ers.
I want the Packers.
Yeah, I want the Packers.
The Niners don't need any more rings.
I'd like the
Packers. It's been a while for them, though.
Yeah, Joe Montana and Steve Young. See, I would like the Packers. I wouldn't mind the Packers because I think it'd just be funny to have 3 straight Hall of Fame quarterbacks. Because I'm now on board just assuming Jordan Love's going to be that. But I'm going to take the Niners.
Yeah, probably Niners.
Because in that same breath, every time Aaron Rodgers faced the Niners in the playoffs, they beat his ass. So,
true.
No matter what happens, Jordan Love, he did amazing this year.
Yeah.
After the first month and a half, everyone thought it was going to be trash. I cheered him to Rose thinking he was trash, and now he's great. So, you're welcome.
We all make mistakes.
Oh, my God, you're right. Aaron Jones had 2 touchdowns this year, and he had 3 touchdowns last week.
I know.
Yeah.
I told you.
That's awesome.
He was shit in the bed the whole entire year, and all of a sudden, let's go playoffs. Maybe I should act like I know what I'm doing.
All right, Sunday. Detroit's going for their first season with 2 playoff games since 1957 against the Buccaneers. Yeah, it's been that long. So they had 2 playoff wins. Oh, they actually won the title that year.
Lions are going to win it, but I kind of want Bucks.
I'm going with the Lions.
Detroit Rock City.
I mean, I don't hate Detroit. Good for them. But, like, they're probably going to win. I still want the Bucks.
They're playing in Detroit.
I kind of would want to go so I can try mom's spaghetti.
Yeah, tickets as low as $450.
Oh, Todd Bowles was asked how they're preparing for the cold. And he's like, it's a dome.
Yeah, they were smart. They thought this one out.
Looking at you, Buffalo.
Ooh, Detroit's actually favored by 6.5 points.
Yeah, figures.
Which is somehow the second smallest spread this week. Because Baltimore and Niners are both expected to win by 9 points.
Jesus.
Yeah, and then our last game, the Walrus and the Chiefs versus the Bills.
Ooh, that's going to be a good game.
I don't even want. I want both of them to break their legs.
Jesus Christ!
Break the femur.
I would be on board with the Bills, but I think the Chiefs are going to win it.
I'm just so tired of seeing the Chiefs. And just...
Yeah, but Pittsburgh did this thing called injure the Buffalo's defense.
Yeah, they really did. We fucked them up.
We went down, but we went down Sweden.
Do you think if the Chiefs make it to the Super Bowl that Taylor Swift is going to rock the stage with Usher?
No, I don't think she might try, but no. I think
She's coming back from Japan.
And then she will be in Japan, but whoever does Super Bowl halftime show, they actually pay for it, so they get like a say in everything.
Yeah, it's Usher. Everybody's getting herpes.
Well, it's better than Chris Brown. We all get slapped.
We go there chilly, and everybody leaves with a little burn.
Oh,
damn!
All right, well,
Yuck.
Enough with football.
Yeah.
So this next thing I have in here for our pre-topic came to me last week. So I watched that one movie, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. You fell asleep immediately.
Oh, yeah.
Billy, I don't know if you've seen it.
You were already watching it.
It was a good movie.
No, I haven't.
Okay. Very good movie. But it had me thinking, who's the better actor, Leo or Brad Pitt?
I'm always going to be Team Leo.
Leo's in more artsy shit.
He's a more dramatic actor where Brad Pitt he's more mainstream, like he does the same roles for the most part. Yeah,
like Tyler Durden. I know how problematic that movie is now, apparently, but Tyler Durden's great role. Oh, apparently it's like Fragile Men's favorite movie or some shit. I don't know.
We don't talk about it.
Talk about what?
Exactly.
I fell in the pit.
I mean, when it comes to like 90s, early 2000 heartthrobs, I think Brad Pitt kind of throws Overcast over Leo. Leo is a very distinct face, but I grew up with him, so I think I'd always pick Leo just because.
Well, it had me think because like Brad Pitt, I love all of his movies. I think they like suit me better. Even though Leo does some great movies, I was thinking like he has some like movies out he wasn't hard, like Django Unchained, Inception, some other ones where he had like a lot more range. Or Brad Pitt, I mean, any movie he's in, it just draws me in. Well, I'm not here. He's a sexy blonde guy.
Leo's got the Bear movie.
That one too.
The Departed, I think. No.
Wolf of Wall Street.
Yeah, Wolf of Wall Street. He's just whatever role he's in, he goes all the way.
When I was younger, I remember watching him on TV shows, and then he did Man in the Iron Mask. I don't know. It's probably something that you won't know because it's an older movie.
I do.
You know Billy?
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of like Three Musketeers. He had a twin, and he was a rightful king, but the evil twin took over, and he was forced to wear this iron mask. And
I think I heard it. I don't think I've seen it, but I think I know what you're talking about.
But it was such a
good in English class.
And then you read these books, and then you see this actor portray all these things like Romeo and Juliet. They're all Leo. He's so versatile, and I don't think he gets enough credit for trying different roles. Like a funny guy is always going to play a funny guy.
Tell that to Adam Sandler recently.
Jim Carrey.
Jim Carrey did 23, and look what it did to his career. I love me some Jim.
He won He wanted to take back.
One who went the drama route, Vince Vaughn, and he did very well.
But I'm saying he does a lot.
Jonah Hill.
He played but listen, Leonardo DiCaprio, he played a mentally handicapped person. Not trying to get us canceled.
For once, not trying to get canceled. What a fucking shock. We had the good wine today.
I didn't have any wine.
Oh, that's the occasion.
No, I just feel like he has good roles and he's done a good job. I mean, it's my opinion.
I mean, Brad Pitt has some dramatic roles. Like, what's that one movie? Came out a few years, Ford vs. Ferrari.
Oh, yeah, I didn't see that yet.
Fuck, that was a fucking great movie. He did great. Was that Brad Pitt? No. Who's the one that was Martian? Who was that?
Martian? Oh,
Matt Damon. Is that Matt Damon? Yeah, he's pretty good, too. Fury had Brad Pitt. That's my favorite movies.
I'm not saying Brad Pitt's not a good actor.
I think I just prefer Brad Pitt.
And he was so sexy in Fight Club.
Yeah, Fight Club.
Yeah, he was.
And that other movie he did where he's a sexy cowboy.
Cowboy?
I don't even know. It's like an older movie, but...
DiCaprio was a cowboy in that Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Yeah.
Gangs in New York. Oh, that doesn't count.
Was he in Gangs in New York?
Yeah.
Oh, shit. Do I like Leo more?
If you were to pull up their films and you look at the ones you liked more...
Okay, let's do that.
I guarantee you're going to like more Leo films.
Best Leo films.
I'm going Leo's the better actor, though.
So, here's just the top ones for Leo. Blood Diamond, The Aviator. Well, a pretty good movie.
Ooh.
Once Upon a Hollywood, The Great Gatsby. That was all right. Titanic, instant classic. Don't Look Up. Billy, we saw that one in Pittsburgh. In our room.
Oh yeah, I barely paid attention because I was getting hammered.
Fair enough. So those are some good ones. I don't know what these other ones. Coach the Fun Movie that just came out. Brad Pitt top movies. Let's see here. Fight Club, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Troy's a fucking great one.
Sure was.
Mr. and Mrs. Smith. World War Z, which depends if you start the book or not. Usually that's how people view that movie. Oh, Seven.
Seven is a good movie.
Seven was fucking fantastic.
No box.
Yeah, another one. Glorious Bastards. The Curious Case of Benjamin Button. Yeah, Fury. I love that. Ocean's 11.
Okay, Ocean.
Oh, he's got some bangers.
Moneyball.
The Ocean ones were more George Clooney.
He was still in it.
Yeah.
Megamind.
What character did he play in Megamind?
I never saw the movie.
Exactly.
The Big Short, that's a good one.
Yeah.
Ocean's 12 Years a Slave. I haven't seen them, but apparently it's good. What? But I think I'm scrolling a lot more for Brad Pitt. So let me go back to Leo and just see if there's any more down here that sticks out.
Titanic, classic.
Yeah, I said Titanic before. It's one of the best movies ever made. Yeah, there's The Man in the Iron Mask there. The Basketball Diaries. Critters. Oh, these are his worst movies. Let's see. Poison Ivy, Total Eclipse. Yeah, I think this is just leading back to Brad Pitt.
Yeah.
There's the Red there. Romeo and Juliet, The Beach. Shutter Island. That's another good one from Leo.
And Catch Me If You Can.
He was in that? Huh, I remember him in that one. Django, The Aviator. Yeah. Oh, there he is at 3. I'm thinking of a different movie, Catch Me If You Can. I'm thinking of the one with Woody Harrelson, Morgan Freeman's in it, Mark Ruffalo's in it, Franco's brother's in it.
That's Now You See Me Now.
Yep.
Yes.
Yep, that's the one I'm thinking of.
That's where they do the magic.
Yep. The titles are similar. I don't know what you want me to take. All right. Final answer, I'm going Brad Pitt. Fuck it. Just for that comment.
See, Brad Pitt had range. Leo's just recently coming into his range, kind of.
Leo bit. I really want an award, and these fucking drama roles aren't doing it for me for some reason. Let's climb inside of a bear.
Well, yeah, but his early roles were all just, the heartthrob.
Yeah, that's probably why I'm going Brad Pitt more, because not so much.
I forgot about a lot of his bangers, but yeah, the range, it's there.
Yeah, fucking love it. So before we get into our first main topic of tonight, what time are we at? Oh, half hour.
Yeah, we've been a minute.
Yeah, that's all right.
There's a lot of editing.
I don't really edit that much anymore because I don't need to. We're actually at that point where I do very little editing. We have some more crossovers with the Wellhouse Exorcism coming up. For our listeners who listen to them come on here about Sharp Mountain and us going over on theirs about the old Ashland house. We have more crossovers coming up with them. I think more so us going over there again. Because they want us to come on again about the Ashland house for an updated episode because they did some research. And we might be working on because they have another podcast, Games Overboard. I think we touched on that, where it's not ghost related or haunting related. It's about, board games. And we're talking about doing like online stream of board games of, us versus them. Rejects versus Games Overboard.
That'd be pretty dope. See, I find things out on here too.
What's that?
I find things out here too.
Hey, I did message you this like an hour ago.
Yeah, I just mean I learned more in depth.
To be fair, this was like a today thing, so I didn't like forget about it.
Oh no, I'm not calling you out. It's how I learned.
However, what I did forget to tell you though is also another thing that might be going on there is in their last episode they're kind of like talking about what they're working on the next few next few projects, and they want to do UFOs, and I might go on about UFOs.
Ooh,
Billy, you want to come talk about UFOs? Or want to come on about UFOs? I just figured you'd be there with me anyway.
I'm from Florida. All the UFOs migrate to Florida.
Tell that to Roswell.
Facts.
I'm Rosalind.
Well, I'm going to scoot on over away a little bit. This is why she won't have the ocelot. It's a natural alien predator.
Shush.
Oh, wait, did you mean UFOs go there because they have a lot of aliens? Because of the... Moving on.
God damn it, we're not getting canceled.
And it's not even going to be me that does it.
Oh, I said worse things on here.
It does get worse.
Oh, boy.
Well, if I could take us off with your topic today.
Dun, dun, dun.
I've talked about Latinos before.
Yeah, I know. I think everybody knows.
It's an identified floating object. Can actually come on the boats.
Okay, too far.
Not too far. I'm sorry. Let me just immigrate back over here and let her take over.
Jesus Christ. If we weren't getting canceled, we are now.
Mr. We don't need to edit no more.
I'm not.
God damn it.
Listen, if I have time over the weekend, we're actually recording on Thursday for the first time in a month. So maybe I'll actually...
Yeah, right.
Hey, I'm full of surprises.
I'll message you tomorrow.
See, there you go. He's going to remind me. So if you can please continue on.
Okay. Like every month, there is a awareness month or a month that celebrates something. I have touched base on some of these before, such as May is known as Mental Health Awareness Month. January happens to be Stalker Awareness Month. If you didn't know it was a thing, well, it is. January of 2024 marks the 20th annual National Stalking Awareness Month. Stalking impacts 1 in 3 women and 1 of 6 men in the United States. Yet it's often difficult for stalking victims to recognize what they are experiencing and where to go for help. The task at hand for the Stalking Prevention Awareness and Resource Center, also known as SPARC, is to make the victim service providers, including domestic violence shelters and rape crisis agencies, campuses, law enforcement agencies, and other places where stalking victims come for help and support and have training and resources that they have to better need the response to victims and survivors. I've never heard of this, so I visited their webpage, and they do a lot of work. You would not believe that there are people out there, just regular people, going out and doing things that cops should be doing when they're trained to do things and help people.
After doing some of our episodes, I can believe it.
Oh, yeah.
Many times where police don't do police things.
As a national resource center, Spark takes an approach to service providers and criminal justice responders with information and resources that they need to better service victims and survivors of stalking. They provide in-person and online training to responders on recognizing and responding to any forms of stalking. As of July 2022, they have trained over 33,300 professionals across the country. They are not stopping until every survivor gets the help and the effective response that they deserve. That is their mission. A lot of people don't think stalking is, they think it's weird for people to do things.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, there's some crazy people out there.
Yeah, so I went ahead and I did some fact-checking on some stalking information.
Sorry, so just before, because I'm curious, is this like a government-funded thing, or is this like some private thing?
It's a private thing.
Oh, okay. I was just curious.
Oh, thank God.
Well, I don't know, because there's a lot of places like federal funding and state funding. I don't know if it's one of those things, or someone's like, hey, government sucks, we should do this.
A 301 or whatever C for whatever. The fucking 103C tax code or whatever the fuck it is.
Oh, nonprofit.
501. Yeah, that thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a 501k. Yeah, it's the 301c, I think it's called.
We're probably wrong. Someone correct us.
Listeners,
Right.
Please tell us.
So, stalking is a course of conduct directed at a specific person and would cause a reasonable person to fear their safety and safety of others or to suffer distress, is the little dictionary back there. A lot of people don't know what course of conduct is, which it means a pattern of two or more instances where it can conclude in the same stalking behavior repeated more than one, types of behavior, documenting unwarranted contact, or behaviors that can establish some kind of pattern.
So I looked it up real quick. 501c is the public charity thing.
Yeah, that's what we have for Whiskers World for the cat rescue.
Yeah. It means you have at least a third of its donated revenue from a fairly broad base of public support.
Yeah, I worked at shelters. I just couldn't remember what the fuck it was called.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're close. 501c.
What are stalking behaviors?
Donna.
Stalking behaviors can fall
Ocelot.
She's gonna hit you.
Every day I tell myself that I'm so blessed to marry this man.
And every day I try to prove you wrong.
And you succeed. Stalking behavior can fall under several categories. A behavior that might seem harmless in one context can feel threatening in the context of stalking. Now, what maybe seem weird to me may seem normal to you. It's just a person's preference on what they feel is uncomfortable.
I am pretty freaky.
There are several different ways of stalking somebody. Surveillance is one. Following or tracking somebody in person or online, using technology such as a camera, a GPS, or a recording device to monitor somebody. Surveilling someone's social media activity, which, people do that. Hacking into someone's accounts, which people also do that. Gathering information about somebody through their friends, colleagues, or family members. Now, sometimes this might seem to somebody just finding general interest in somebody, but in some cases, this can turn out really, really bad.
I mean, it's a pretty common joke that people like Facebook stalk somebody.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Set your stuff to private.
Another stalking technique is life invasion. It's somebody who shows up uninvited to a place the victim might be, like their classes, their organization, workplace, or living space. Unwanted contact, including phone calls, texts, DMs, social media comments. leaving unwanted gifts or notes, joining groups that the victim belongs to, or contacting people that belong in the victim's lives. Now, like, sliding into people's DMs constantly.
I feel like my life has made it.
Hey.
Form is interference. Forcing confrontations, damaging property, tampering with accounts, spreading rumors or misinformation to damage the victim's reputation, or impersonating the victims online.
I'm going to spread rumors about you.
Yeah.
You're anti-ocelot. There's 150 left in the American wild.
Last but not least, we have intimidation. You can't intimidate me.
Wow. Why do you think I want the ocelot? To help.
You're getting the ocelot.
They threat to hurt, humiliate, or otherwise harm.
Didn't you just say a little bit ago that she was going to hit me? Or no, Billy said you're going to hit me.
Yeah, intimidation third third party.
Third party. There it is.
Blackmail. Threatening gestures. Shut up. Threats to hurt oneself or others, victims' families, friends, or pets.
That's fucked up.
Didn't you say earlier that you were going to feed Fireball to the ocelot?
No. I said he's going to find out. But he can't fuck her out like this when an ocelot comes around.
Threatening a pet. You, sir, are a stalker.
I'll show you stalking.
That's just marriage.
Yeah, exactly.
What can we do about marriage? I mean, stalking. You can respect each other's boundaries, privacy, and independence.
All right, no, are we sure this isn't about marriage?
Listen, we take stalking very seriously. In healthy relationships of all kind, we show respect for other people's boundaries and privacies and independence through our own words and actions, stopping behavior that is making them uncomfortable.
Do.
Recognize that it is healthy for people to have outside interest in relationships.
No, are you sure?
Understanding that everybody deserves privacy, including digital privacy. Movies, TV shows, books are often framed stalking as funny, romantic, someone that is awkward that can just lead to someone downplaying stalking behaviors like Netflix's You, which is a great show, by the way.
It's a great show.
It is very, 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 very what the fuck, but it is a good show. Believe victims. Remind them that the stalking is not their fault. Validate them. Honor whatever their feelings that they're having and anything that they're experiencing. And thank them for sharing that information with you, as you are somebody they can trust. And last in, check in with them. Keep lines of communication open and let them know that you are a safe person to talk to if they need support. Remember to respect their choices. Trust that they know what they need to feel safe. Offer resources. Offer to connect with them with a confidential resource such as the Center for Victims or the Violence Protection. Again, we take this very seriously, even though there has been some laughter comparing stalking to marriage.
To be fair,
some of those tips.
A lot of those stalking does occur like jealous ex-boyfriends or ex-girlfriends or spouses. Yeah, stuff like that. So, I mean, that is, I mean, I can't say that's for sure, but I would assume like most stalkings would be from like a loved one or someone who, misses you. And yeah.
But we do not take light in it. Here at the Full Set Rejects, we don't take things very... Well, we don't treat it as a joke, even though we're
serious people.
Yes.
Super serial guys.
So, if you or someone you know are a victim of stalking and need safety planning assistance, there are advocates in the area, 24/7 hotline to talk, chat, or to text with you about further options and support. You can call 1-800-799-SAFE or 799-7233. For chat, you can go to the hotline online and go to thehotline.org. Everybody deserves to live a life free of abuse and fear. I hope we learned something.
Fun fact, I was actually one of these advocates once.
Yeah?
Yeah. Like for real skis. Well, not in this organization, but when I was in tech school, they had these things called like different ropes. And a lot of them are leadership ropes, but one of them was for like advocates for like men and women who are going through like sexual, physical abuse or stalking or anything like this. Like they weren't in a safe spot.
Mm-hmm.
And you literally just had like a rope around like your fucking shoulder so they can see like you're one of them. And then you were like a confidential reporter, so like they can come talk to you and you're not mandated to like go call the police or do something. Like everything was up to them. But like you're like supposed to help them, and like you work with like the chaplain services to get them what they needed. Yeah. It's pretty interesting. Fucked up.
There's a lot more of those out there. When I was doing my research on the stalking awareness, it's very. I mean, they coincide with the women's shelters and the abuse shelters, domestic relation shelters. A lot of them the stalking is very in the shadows compared to these domestic or people in need from abuse. I mean, it's not just women, it's men too. But that's the whole point of having the awareness month, is to make awareness that these things actually do happen.
Yeah.
A lot of people say, oh my God, I'm being stalked. They're like, oh, shut up. You're not that important, Carol.
Or they don't take it too serious themselves. Like, oh, someone's stalking me. Oh boy.
Oh my God, I'm flattered. And then,
but you never know what's going to happen next.
Yeah, no one realizes it's fucking Jeffrey Dahmer back there.
Yeah. And then you get chloroformed and thrown in the trunk.
Yeah.
That was good. Good awareness.
February is his heart.
February is heart. So we're going to do
heart awareness, like heart healthy.
Do some hard facts next month.
I like more creepy things. It's also National AIDS and HIV Awareness Month.
Huh. The things you learn on this podcast.
We are an educational
But there's a lot of each month it changes. Like you have your national this or national that. But it's fun to pick topics that make awareness of things. I mean, everybody does like the race for cancer or the race for, there's always the heart healthy stuff. You see the ribbons on everything for the month of February, along with the heart, Valentine's, it makes sense to have a heart awareness.
Breast Cancer Awareness Month is probably the most famous one.
Yep.
There's pink everywhere.
Yeah. Like Pittston does to paint the town pink.
So I'm going to do a little awareness of my own today of why the government sucks.
And you thought stalking was bad.
Today I am talking about Operation Hades, which just sounds terrible for anyone who knows anything about Greek mythology.
No, already off to a bad start.
Yeah. I wouldn't say it's just definitely not one of my worst topics in regards of like gruesome death, but it's still fucked up.
No, Unit 731.
Yeah, that one, and Albert Fish probably the two.
Yeah, Fish, and then Bible John was pretty fucked up too.
I don't say like what's the word? I don't know, the
macabre.
I want to say macabre. It's the one. The dark horse candidate would be the Sharp Mountain ones, just because that was just like an actual conversation with people going through things.
That was just all in all that my heart still goes out to all of those families. Yeah. It's just now it's getting colder. It's terrible. I think about them often.
They just found a body last week too. That must have been a lot for them.
Just sucks because you said that, and they're like, when you said it, you're like, hey, they found a body by Sharp Mountain, and I'm like sitting there like, who? Like I
only saw it because
that was my first thought too.
Yeah, well, because I only knew about it because I saw a post from like one of the moms that we talked to, and I was like, holy shit. Because I guess people kept messaging her like, hey, is this Zach? Is this Zach? Mm-hmm. And the post is like, can people stop messaging me right now? I don't know, and I don't want to be like constantly thinking about this.
Yeah, but
right.
I get where she's coming from, because we're not even. I mean, not that we're not involved. It's not our family, but in the sense that we have grown to appreciate and have this love for these victims and their families that it was like you held your breath thinking, oh my God, maybe one of these families are finally able to
have some closure.
Have closure or make peace with the fact that their loved one is going to be brought home. And it just sucks when you find out it's just another random person who was another family.
No, they still haven't identified him.
No, I didn't see an identification on the body. Speaking of victims, I want to have lots of victims in this topic.
Let me proofread stuff before you post it, please.
It's probably a good point.
It's not
you
what
he... Sleepy Hollow Run.
So for anyone who has a relative who fought in the Vietnam War, you might be familiar with something called Agent Orange. But what is Agent Orange, and why is it so connected to the American war effort in Vietnam? See, told you. Agent Orange, typically just a herbicide, was first used by British forces during the Malaysian emergency in the 1950s. So, we kind of got the ideas from England. So, fuck England. America would launch Operation Ranch Hand, which would lead to the spraying of an estimated 19 million gallons of defoliants and herbicides over South Vietnam in an attempt to deprive the Viet Cong of food and vegetation cover. And we also sprayed the countries of Laos and Cambodia. Nearly 20,000 sorties in total were flown from 1961 to 1971. Now, this might sound as a joke, but I swear to you it's not. A popular saying among pilots and those who participated in the operation was only you can prevent a forest.
Jesus.
With a bear on the flag with the same. For any, in case there's any kids or youngins that listen to this, there used to be a saying, only you can prevent a forest fire.
I think they still use that.
Fires.
Do they really?
Yeah, Smokey the Bear was legit, bro.
Yeah, I fucking love Smokey the Bear. He at least stopped me from starting like 3 forest fires.
Oh, same. No, he helped me light up my first joint. Oh, I'm sorry, that was Puff the Magic Dragon.
I was just saying, I think the message of Florida might have been different. They had enough forest, they just had marshes, so I was like, yeah, you know what, light it up. Around 20% of South Vietnamese forests were sprayed at least once, leaving 5 million acres of forest and 500,000 acres of crops heavily damaged or destroyed. Yeah, it's a lot of forest and acres. The U.S. Air Force outfitted C-123 transport aircrafts with specially developed 1,000-gallon tanks and designated them Hades, hence the title of the operation here.
It all makes sense now.
All comes full circle. Sorties would include 3 to 5 aircraft flying side by side, with each plane spread an area 260 feet wide and 9.9 miles long. These planes account for 95% of herbicide, with the remaining 5% being sprayed by the U.S. Chemical Corps, other military branches, and the Republic of Vietnam, which was South Vietnam.
Yeah.
And Nam used hand sprayers, truck sprayers, helicopters, and boats, mainly around U.S. installations, because, that makes fucking sense strategically.
Mama said that the Air Force was the devil.
Just wait. Just wait. Let's see here. I just lost my spot. I'm sorry. Here we go. The amount sprayed in a location was up to 50 times more than the recommended use for agricultural use, with the most widely used chemicals being Agent Orange, which is produced by Monsanto and Dow Chemical, which is still running today. They also used Agent Blue and Agent White, which is different chemical mixtures, and they just used that when Agent Orange wasn't available.
DDT and such, I think.
Yeah, stuff like that, yeah. Stuff that's mainly banned today, because, cancer. Oh, we'll get there. In 2005, a New Zealand minister mentioned that his country actually provided many of the chemicals used for this operation. He would later say he was misquoted. Did you just fix that? Okay. Probably to avoid the PR disaster that we will discuss soon, as I've largely avoided talking about the side effects on people for recently. Did I get all these Vietnam names right? But wow. Yeah. Okay. I spelled some actual English words by Vietnamese words. Okay. Now on to the actual operations. Most missions flew out of Bien Hoa Air Base from 66 to 1970. Other bases included Phu Cat Air Base in 68 to 70, Tan Son Nhut Air Base from 62 to 66, Nha Trang Air Base 68 to 69, Phan Rang Air Base from 70 to 72, and Toi Hoa Air Base from 71 to 72. I actually practiced those pronunciations.
I was gonna say, did you know them because of the Air Force?
No, I practiced a little bit.
Oh.
Yeah. Bien Huy Air Base exposed American Navy personnel as the chemicals seeped into the local waterways and mixed in with the water for the local sailors. So,
Yeah.
And, they didn't exactly have, the best plumbing back then, so things got mixed up.
Yeah, nobody.
Da Nang, Bien Huy, and Phu Cat are still heavily contaminated with dioxin from the herbicides and are a top priority for cleanup and decontamination by the current Vietnamese government.
Couldn't spell it, nor can you say it.
No, but I got all those Vietnam words correct, but I can't fucking do English. Go figure.
Yeah.
You should practice English.
You probably should. I'm also not looking when I type. I just type away, okay? I'm not checking my grammar here. I'm sorry.
You spelled it wrong. That's not grammar.
Phonetic. I'm not having fun with phonics over here. I'm trying to get shit done.
September. You should spell September.
I was distracted by us getting married, okay? The entire joy and glory of that day just takes over the entire month.
How to spell the word September.
To this day, we're 50 years later, still cleaning up what we left there. We do kind of help, kind of. The first test run occurred on the 10th of August, 1961, in the village of Dak To. Testing will continue for a year, and despite concerns from the State Department and the White House, Operation Ranch Hand began in 1962 with JFK approval of individual missions until November of 1962, when Kennedy gave authorization power to the Military Assistance Command Vietnam and the U.S. ambassador to South Vietnam. And then Laos, thank you. Laos was approved to be sprayed in 1965. So basically, there's some science people like, hey, this is bad. And the government was like, fuck off.
We don't care.
Yeah. Debate grew over whether or not these sprays were violating the Geneva Protocol. However, officials began to point out that the Brits did the same thing during the Malayan emergency and no one cared. So they said, fuck it.
It gets worse.
South Vietnam President Ngo Diem also pressured the U.S. to destroy crops in September 1961. So they were kind of asking for it. It wasn't like they were just dressed up with nice crops like, hey, let's just, stop this out. They're literally asking for it.
She was asking for it.
Yeah.
She said, please.
We just covered stalking.
Targets were initially carefully selected based on strategic and psychological operational goals of the U.S. and South Nam. Also, at this point in my write-up, I had a couple of shots, so I'm going with Nam. I got that note in here for myself. Good job, me.
Proud of you.
Now, where did I go from here is a real question.
Explains why you took a couple shots.
The C-123s that were used in the sprays were escorted by fighter aircraft or helicopter gunships that would strafe the target area before the chemical dousing and to draw out any potential enemy fire to, make them disappear. Hence, gunships. Yeah, they're basically stocked with the gunships and then assaulted and then chemical warfare. Allegedly chemical warfare.
Allegedly.
Operations typically took place in the morning during windy days. Mangroves would typically only get one spray. However, dense forests would get 2 or 3 sprays. It would take about 2 to 3 weeks for the foliage to die, leaving the area bare until the next rainy season. About 10% of trees sprayed died from a single spray run. The needs of the scientific community began to protest the use of herbicides in warfare in 1964, which included the Federation of American Scientists. In 1967, a petition called for an end to the program was signed by 17 Nobel Prize winners and 5,000 scientists.
You blinded me with science.
In 1969, research conducted by Bionetics Research Laboratory found that some of the chemicals used were causing stillbirth in lab mice. So a whole 2 years later after this discovery, the military ended the use of the chemicals but continued to use others until early 71.
69. Nice.
Yeah. Great year.
Nice.
So you're about to be amazed to hear that there is a massive impact on the people. Along with the ecology of Vietnam, the program exposed approximately 4.8 million Vietnamese people to Agent Orange, resulting in 400,000 deaths. Yes, I said people.
People?
Yeah, the people.
Yeah, right. Not just the people, just the people.
I want to emphasize it was the people, which resulted in 400,000 deaths. See, now I repeat myself because you made me repeat that.
You spelled Vietnam wrong so many times.
I clearly said I had a few shots.
Did we try to say vitamin?
You might be thinking, wow, this is bad. I'm sure America did the right thing. Bill, are you still here?
Yeah, sorry. Yeah.
You might be thinking, wow, this is bad. I'm sure America did the right thing. If you thought that, you clearly never read anything about American history.
Literally no one thought that.
Original reports were incredibly biased by the American government, and once an unbiased party performed studies, the initial estimates were doubled. 3 million Vietnamese people developed health problems, including 150,000 babies born with defects, a quarter of Vietnam being defoliated. The Red Cross of Vietnam estimates that approximately 1 million people were either disabled or developed health problems from exposure, with the American government denying these claims. According to the Department of Veterans Affairs, 2.6 million U.S. military personnel were also exposed to Agent Orange. Thank God we take care of our veterans, right? Ha, 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 ha. I literally typed out a laugh in my write-up for this.
How's the knee, buddy?
So veterans were not eligible for treatment until a law passed in 1991. It literally took a class action lawsuit for the government to think they should take care of veterans exposed to Agent Orange. Fun fact, veterans exposed to Agent Orange also had babies that had a higher percent of birth defects than people not exposed. Even after the law passed, veterans still had to wait months, even years, to be treated with a noticeable longer wait time for minorities.
Sounds right.
What a fucking shock.
Don't you have like a long line of Air Force?
Huh?
Don't you have like a long line of military men in your family?
Okay, you know we can't hear you if you're over there. And
I'm asking you the question.
Yeah, there's a lot of... Yeah.
Were they treated for Agent Orange?
So...
How many birth defects do you have?
Well, no one... Holy shit.
Whoa.
She died at
Well, no, because I was going to say... Because I know on, like, Jared's side, my stepdad's side, his dad was in Vietnam around Agent Orange. Like...
Explains Katie.
Oh, my God. Well, no, there's not a study to show, like, the grandkids' effects, but, like, the actual kids. Like, the next generation afterwards. Yeah.
Operation Mucus Blood.
This has nothing to do with Katie again.
Come on, stop with it. The cork popped.
Remember how... Oh, by the way, she lost her mucus blood today.
Yeah, he told me her cork popped.
Her cork popped. That was such a fun conversation when Jenny lost. Anyways.
So the last I saw, in 2015, there were still issues with the VA taking care of veterans with Agent Orange exposure. However, not long after that, the head of the Senate Veterans Committee, Bernie fucking Sanders, did a complete overhaul of the VA system to streamline the process and make it easier for veterans. So here's the thing. I have a little more of a rant if you guys want to hear how the VA kind of sucks. If not, I can end it right here.
Just fucking send it.
All right, so here's the thing.
He was going to do it anyways.
No, I would have stopped it. Because I was just angry little bastard over here. So, because I made the comment before that the VA is terrible with catching up and the government's terrible at taking care of veterans. I can give you 3 good examples in the 3 last presidential, whoever was in power. So, you have what Biden, when he came in, with the toxic pits being covered from exposure to toxic pits over in Iraq and Afghanistan.
Oh, yeah.
So someone who had a lot of power thought, hey, in Iraq, let's just burn all this garbage with fucking jet fuel right next to where everyone sleeps. Fun fact, that causes cancer. Funner fact, the government denied that this actually caused cancer, so they just denied claims. So a lot of people end up dying from cancer because they couldn't get treatment.
Yeah.
Which included Biden's one son, which is why he pushed for this. So after, invaded Iraq in 2003, law passed in 2021. So that many years is how long it took for them to like, hey, we should cover this for people. Go back to Trump. So at first, he was kind of bad for the military because under Trump, fun fact, those funds for that wall came from treatment sources for the military. So suicide skyrocketed underneath him.
Yeah.
But near the end, he signed some legislation to expand healthcare for veterans, which allowed them to be able to go to what's the word I'm looking for? Urgent care facilities. So, because say like me for example, this happened to me. I got hit by that truck back in April. They wanted me to go to a urgent care facility. Before this legislator, I would have had to call the VA, wait for an appointment, which could have been a few more days. Meanwhile, my arm was like in fucking pain, ready to fall off. I was able to get seen right away. It was free. Medication was free, whatnot. And you go back to, but then again, that problem was there since the fucking VA was created. Like, this whole problem could have been solved by somebody getting off their ass like, hey, let's just let them do this.
I remember the VA from my grandfather. Yeah, not great.
Getting there, that was my next point. So under Obama, and this is also in the military, there was an issue where veterans were going into VA clinics like, hey, I need help now because I'm about to kill myself. And they were being turned away. And it became a thing where a bunch of them began to just kill themselves in the parking lots of veterans centers because they could not get help. They were just...
They pretty much said, yeah, go ahead, pull the trigger.
Yeah,
they would constantly be denied, which now even if you're not a veteran, if you go somewhere like, hey, I'm suicidal, you're getting help right away.
Oh, yeah, I've seen me do it.
Yeah. But then, as I just spoke about him, Bernie Sanders, he was the lead of the VA committee. He led an investigation and discovered that the entire system was fucked. So they did a complete overhaul and reworked the VA. And you'll see, like, before this, like you said, your grandfather and almost every veteran who went there before this, it was terrible. You could be waiting for months to be seen for like a simple issue.
Mm-hmm.
God forbid you had like a serious issue like cancer or
heart disease.
Yeah, or anything. You would have to wait months, and you can't wait for months when it comes to something like that. But after this overhaul, a lot of veteran clinics got a lot better, and I can say this for myself. The one I go to in Wilkes-Barre, they're amazing. I think the longest I had to wait for an appointment was maybe like 2 days.
Yeah, it seems to have gotten a lot better than the
but
90s.
Still, decades for someone to get a hold of VA and make them actually, be efficient at taking care of veterans. And there's still lots of issues today. You have homeless issues, you have drug dependency issues. And I mean, they did into a new program as I was getting out where they kind of help you transition. They gave you a bunch of like brochures and like where to go and whatnot. There's a lot more programs now, but
oh, that's pretty dope.
Yeah, it took way too long.
Oh, yeah.
And just by the fact that it took them, almost 2 decades to give a shit about these, burn pits causing cancer, still tells you that they still don't care. I mean, you can even go back a few years ago to another instance, not just veterans, but they were about to end medical care for 9/11 first responders.
Oh, shit.
Oh, yeah. You'll never guess which side of the political party was trying to take them away.
Oh, no way. Republicans?
Ding, ding, ding.
Holy shit.
Yeah, and it wasn't like one of those bills where like other things are attached to it. I read the bill. It was literally just extending healthcare for 9/11 first responders, and Republicans were about to vote no on it. And that's when Jon Stewart went to Capitol Hill and was like, "You're a bunch of fucking assholes. Do this right now."
Oh, shit.
Yeah, and then they voted for it, and now first responders or 9/11 first responders have like lifelong healthcare.
That's pretty good.
Our government sucks ass.
Yeah, that took way too long too.
Yeah, but that's enough of my rants today. I hope everyone enjoyed the story of how America is. I say fuck it and do some war crimes, and my little rants that America treats veterans terrible.
Speaking of America, let's go to prison again.
That's a nice little transition to your thing here.
I know, thank you. I saw the segue and I definitely took it.
Attaboy. You got better. New Year, new segues.
Well, we're only sort of going to prison. In 1971, a researcher at Stanford University planned a psychological experiment to test how differing roles and titles could impact a social environment. This task would be completed using volunteers from the college for a crisp $15 a day in 1970s money. It was to be a 2-week experiment where the students were picked by a coin flip if they were a guard or a prisoner. I know we'd all probably take guard, or at least I would, but all the students actually picked that they wanted to be prisoners. This was during the time of the free love hippie bullshit movement, so most of them thought they'd be locked up at some point for protests or other infractions.
Fucking hippies.
Overall, it seems like, this is probably a normal psych experiment, but remember, it gets worse.
Yes. Is this the one you messaged me said it gets worse?
Yep.
Yes.
I mean, next week's does too, but following protests that turned violent, as they do, the United States Office of Naval Research looked to fund an experiment studying the effect of military officers and prisoners. Conveniently for them, a professor at Stanford was also interested in this type of a study. Philip Zimbardo, a professor with Stanford University, was looking to follow up on the Milgram experiment conducted 10 years earlier. The short version of the Milgram experiment is a teacher-learner type experiment where the teacher would be able to electrocute the learner for forgetting what they've been taught.
So they electrocuted the teacher?
No, the teacher could electrocute the learner.
Okay. I thought so. My brain went scat for a second.
The electricity ranged from a small shock to deadly voltage, and the resulting screams could be heard in the next room. When the teacher began to become hesitant, a professor in the room would just tell them, "We must continue," and I think something like 65% of people eventually chose to shock the learner with the deadly volt. Basically, because someone seems in charge, people tend to comply. Think kind of like Nazi Germany.
I remember reading an experiment that kind of sounds like that, where they just wanted to see, because they were confused, why were so many people on board with what Nazi Germany did? And they're like, oh, because people with power said something. It's a natural thing.
Milgram was kind of looking for that too. This was the naval office or whatever.
The Navy strikes again.
They sure do. Anyway, prior to conducting the study, Zimbardo would post ads around the campus and in the Stanford Daily looking for volunteers for a psychological study. The ad would read, "Male college students needed for psychological studies of prison life. $15 a day for 1 to 2 weeks beginning August 14th. For further information and applications, come to room 248, Jordan Hall, Stanford U." 75 males would apply, and following psychological assessments, 24 of the most mentally sound applicants were selected. The men were all white, middle class, and without a police record. These are dudes who all wanted to be a prisoner. After a coin flip to determine who would be guard or prisoner, 9 of each were selected with 3 substitutes available in the event someone can't complete the study. Don't worry, we get some backups. Oh, Joe Flacco.
You wrote this before the game. You idiot. You idiot. Maybe Joe Flacco strikes again.
Oh, I saw it and I was reading. I'm like, oh, shit.
For once, we didn't have to edit your thing for you. You fucked up on your own.
Yeah, I was going for it.
You had yourself.
It was determined that Zimbardo would play the role of superintendent of his makeshift prison, while his research assistant would play the role of the warden. The days leading up to the experiment, Zimbardo and his team would work to turn the basement of Jordan Hall into Stanford Prison. They removed doors and replaced them with cell bars, and even had a small closet for isolation. Prisoners were only allowed to be in the hall for a maximum of an hour. In the podcast business, we call this foreshadowing. On August 14th, the day before the experiment was to begin, Zimbardo had an orientation with the volunteers that were tails never fails into a guard role. I forgot I wrote that too. He would instruct them that they were not to physically harm the prisoners or withhold food and drink. They would also be instructed to only refer to the prisoners as their number and never their name, to completely strip them of their individuality. The guards were also provided with wooden batons, mirrored aviators, and guard outfits bought at the local army surplus store. This was to be as real as it could be.
I'm sure these batons were never abused.
Oh no, not at all.
I'm sure they definitely follow this order of don't starve them.
Yeah. The following morning, August 15th, the actual Palo Alto Police Department would go around actually arresting the prisoners. They weren't told about this and would get the full deal of Miranda rights, fingerprinting, and mugshots down at the station. They were then taken to the newly built Stanford County Prison, located in the basement of the psych hall. All sirens blaring, bells, whistles. Upon arrival, the students were stripped nude and forced to stand in the frisk stance while being sprayed with what was said to be delousing powder. It was likely baby powder or some sort of fake shit, but I digress. The guards would begin to mock the nude prisoners about their dick size because that's an easy target. The prisoners were then given their ill-fitting smocks with their new number identities sewn onto them. No underwear, though. They were also fitted with stocking caps that they were to wear at all times. This was to simulate shaving the prisoner's head, further stripping them of their identity. Legally, they weren't allowed to shave their heads, but it'll work.
Well, at least they're following the legalities.
Yeah. The prisoners were lined against the wall and given a list of rules that were to be followed at all times. This is why my entire write-up is very long. Prisoners must remain silent during rest periods, after lights out, during meals, and whenever they are outside in the prison yard. Number 2, prisoners must eat at meal times and only at meal times. 3, prisoners must participate in all prison activities. 4, prisoners must keep their cells clean at all times. Beds must be made, and all personal effects must be neat and orderly. Floors must be spotless. Oh shit. Number 5, prisoners must not move, tamper with, deface, or damage walls, ceilings, doors, windows, or prison property. Number 6, prisoners must never operate their cell lighting. Prisoners must address each other by number only. Prisoners. 69. I don't think there was a 69, but they definitely fucking dropped the ball on it.
Was there a 4-2 and a 0?
I think there might. Yeah, there was 4207.
420.
No, not just one of those. I don't think they could pick the numbers either.
Lame.
Yeah, a bunch of potheads would have totally picked 420.
It is California.
Prisoners must always address the guards as Mr. Correctional Officer and the warden as Mr. Chief Correctional Officer.
How original.
Yeah, they're really getting into this roleplay thing. Prisoners must never refer to their condition as an experiment or simulation. They are imprisoned until they are paroled. Number 10, prisoners will be allowed 5 minutes in the lavatory. No prisoner should be allowed to return to the lavatory within 1 hour after his scheduled lavatory period. Lavatory visitations are controlled by the guards. That one's really confusing.
What if you have the shits?
Have you heard of buckets? We'll get there.
Oh, okay. That gets answered.
Smoking is a privilege. Smoking will be allowed after meals or at the discretion of the guards. Prisoners must never smoke in their cells. Abuse of the smoking privilege will result in permanent revocation of the smoking privilege. Mail is a privilege. All mail flowing in and out of the prison will be inspected and censored. I don't think that is legal. Visitors are a privilege. Prisoners who are allowed a visitor must meet him or her at the door to the yard. They will be supervised by a guard, and the guard may terminate the visit at his discretion. All prisoners in each cell will stand whenever the warden, the prison superintendent, or any visitors arrive on the premises. Prisoners will wait on orders to be seated or resume activities. Prisoners must obey all orders issued by guards at all times. A guard's order supersedes any written order. A warden's order supersedes both the guard's orders and the written rules. Orders of the superintendent of the guard are supreme. They're getting real fucking wordy with the rules.
This is bullshit.
And then with just 2-line ones. Prisoners must report all rule violations to the guards, and failure to obey any of the above rules may result in punishment.
The what a baton.
This place is a fucking prison.
Fuck. I'm going to Cal.
I'm gonna deal with those hippies.
USC. We are Trojans.
Oh. After reading the rules, the guards began their counts. Prisoners' numbers were called, and if they didn't answer quickly and efficiently, they would be punished. The first count was too slow for the guards' liking, so they forced the prisoners to do 10 push-ups. Started slow. Following the hopefully quicker counts, the prisoners were given a random cell, 3 to a cell, 3 cells total. One of the guards began to decide which one of the prisoners were going to be a problem and began to single out prisoner 2093. This was already beginning tensions between the guards and the prisoners. The first meal of the day was served cafeteria style at 7 p.m. in the yard. Only 6 prisoners would fit at the lone table in the yard, so the 3 deemed troublemakers would wait until the men were finished with their meals, and then they could eat what was left before being sent to their cells for lights out. Prisoners would begin discussing starting a sit-down strike, and this is the first day. One of the prisoners, 819, was punished for laughing, so the guard shoved him down with his billy club. I wrote meat club because it's funny.
Oh, that's funny. That's one of the funniest jokes you ever said.
Technically, the following day, when the next guard shift arrived, they would wake the prisoners up using loud whistles and banging their batons off the cells. Naturally, at 2 a.m., the prisoners are a little fucking cranky. The guards would insist on doing a count, which didn't really go well. For nearly an hour, the prisoners were forced to do push-ups and jumping jacks for whatever failure happened in the count. After counts, the prisoners are sent back to bed, sent back to their cells to sleep.
So they're like, hey, it's 2 a.m. Let's fucking wake them up.
Yeah.
Love it.
The prisoners are again woken up at 6 a.m. with whistles and one of the guards smacking his baton off the palm of his hand. After what was surely the worst sleep of these hippies' lives, they are forced to do another count, and again forced to perform push-ups and jumping jacks for failures. Prisoner 819 began to cry because of the mistreatment and was put in the hole for insubordination. Other prisoners were already discussing a hunger strike.
Got him.
After the morning shift arrived and figured out the prisoners felt like the guards were too lax in their efforts, that way the prisoners wouldn't respect them. I fucked that sentence up. A morning work period was put into place where the prisoners would wipe down walls and clean the prison. The guards, wanting to be taken super serial, would remove blankets and pillows from cells 1 and 2 and drag them through a bunch of underbrush, making sure leaves and sticks were attached before they returned them. Prisoner 5704 threw a fit about his bedding being fucked with, of course. How none of these guys punched the guards is beyond me, but again, they're fucking hippies.
Fucking hippies.
Prisoner 819 was released from the hole after a couple hours. Remember, 1 hour. Prisoners 819, 5704, and 7258 ripped the numbers off of their uniforms in an act of defiance and demanded better living conditions. The guards would resort to stripping these prisoners completely naked until their numbers were replaced. The prisoners had also barricaded themselves into the first cell using their beds. Because they couldn't punish cell 1 due to the barricade, the guards would go to cell 2 and remove their beds, putting them in the yard, and telling cell 2 they can have their beds back when cell 1 behaves. Prisoner 1037 from cell 2 would begin yelling about quitting and saying "fuck Zimbardo." He would be shackled and sent to the hole, which again was just a tiny broom closet. 1 hour. Zimbardo chose not to intervene, but watched the chaos ensue.
I mean, at least he's a man of theater.
Yeah, I mean, he loves watching it. During the mini riot, 3 prisoners who were not involved in any of the chaos were moved into a privileged cell number 3. Here, the guards would allow them to have food and clothing, unlike the rest of the unruly prisoners. The guards were taken aback and pissed when the privileged cell refused to eat. Cell 1 was plotting an escape plan. Prisoner 5704, sporting long fingernails from playing guitar, would use his nails as a screwdriver to remove the door handle screws. Unfortunately for them, Guard Landry would attempt to open the door, and when the handle fell, he began screaming about an escape. Prisoner 1037 was now allowed out of the hole after several hours. The night shift guards were requested to come in early and obliged because I'm pretty sure this was just fucking fun for them. They continued to spray the cell with the fire extinguishers until they could get in. Did I not put the fire extinguishers in the first part?
No, this is the first we're hearing about fire extinguishers.
Oh, yeah, they started spraying cell 2 with the fire extinguishers, and then they started spraying through the bars of cell 1 with fire extinguishers.
Oh, nice. And cell 3 is the one with the privileged people, right?
Right, who aren't eating.
Okay, cool.
This is day 2. They continue to spray the cell with fire extinguishers until they can actually get in. They begin to strip the prisoners of their clothing, remove their beds, and deprive them of dinner. You know, everything they're not supposed to do.
Fuck the rules.
This was the first step in breaking the prisoners. It is said at this time that they would turn into a, quote, sullen, quiet blob. Zimbardo realized he needed to do something and announced over the loudspeaker that the prisoners need to elect 3 prisoners to be on the Stanford County Jail Prisoners Grievance Committee. That's a fucking mouthful. They would meet with the superintendent, i.e. him, once they determine their grievances. Prisoners 5704, 4325, and 1037 were elected among the prisoners. Once they've agreed on things to bitch about, they would meet with Zimbardo. He assures the prisoners they could resolve any disagreements amicably to our mutual satisfaction. Prisoner 8612 calls bullshit on the whole thing and was sent to the hole. Once released, it was clear 8612 was having some sort of mental breakdown. When he bitches at Zimbardo, Zimbardo just basically tells him to fucking man up. A second time he met with Zimbardo, 8612 would tell a guard to go fuck himself and then uppercutted one of the other prisoners, screaming wildly about how he can't leave and it's a breach of contract.
Good thing they have backups.
Boy, I was all over the place with this fucking write-up.
This is where the dab hit.
Yeah, pretty much. Following yet another count, it was time for dinner. After just a few minutes of eating, the guards would take their food and tell the prisoners that food was a privilege. Remember, they can't withhold food or drink. 8612 was thrown back into the hole again while Cell 1 was cleaning their bedding of the underbrush. Once he was released from the hole, in surprisingly about an hour, 8612 continued screaming and demanded to call his mommy. It was at this time that Zimbardo would decide that 8612 was going through some sort of actual breakdown and would be released.
I wonder why he was going through a mental breakdown.
Yeah, no, I can't figure it out either. Fucking hippie. There was a rumor amongst the prisoners that 8612 would return with some sort of jailbreak. That was kind of thought as an afterthought, but they did see him around the psychology hall the day after he was released. So there was a little like, maybe he is. Day 3 would begin with a typical count. The guards realized that prisoner 1037 wasn't wearing his head stocking and he is forced to do 15 push-ups. At least, like, the exercises aren't too much.
That's true.
I mean, 15 push-ups would probably kill me now, but... Meanwhile, prisoner 3401 told the guards he felt sick and was forced to do 20 sit-ups to feel better.
That'll do it.
They also removed his pillow simply for being a whiny little bitch.
Jeez.
Due to worrying about 8612 coming back for revenge, Zimbardo tried to move the whole experiment to the old city jail, but the city shut that shit down due to, legal reasons. Zimbardo would plant a spy in the prison, disguised as a prisoner to replace 8612. The spy informed Zimbardo there was no plot, but he did quickly turn on him, and the entire experiment after being treated like he was.
He's the hero of the story.
There is no hero. Day 4 started with the prisoners beginning to seclude themselves from each other. They saw each other as threats and even snitches. It's prison. Prisoner 819 began showing severe signs of mental distress because, again, why not? Zimbardo actually called a priest in to speak with 819. However, he had asked to speak to a medical doctor. When Zimbardo had officially decided to remove 819 from the experiment, he had to actually assure 819 of his identity and that this was all just an experiment. As he was leaving, the guards made the remaining prisoners yell 819 did a bad thing.
Bad thing. Bad thing.
Dicks. Day 5 was meant to be a visitation day for the prisoners. Of course, the guards, being what kind of dicks they were, stalled the visitation and cut it to only 10 minutes. Guards would watch the visitation with the ability to end the visit early if they saw fit. Visiting parents would display their displeasure for the experiment, while some began discussing contacting their lawyers. Along with the parents, Dr. Zimbardo's girlfriend, another psych professor, Christina Moslock, I should have looked that up, challenged Zimbardo over the treatment of the prisoners after seeing them be taken to the bathroom with bags on their heads, not to mention the basic mistreatment of guards. On the 6th day, following the parents and Moslock's concerns, partnered with the increasing maliciousness of the guards, Zimbardo convened all parties to let them know that the experiment was to complete that day. Several prisoners didn't believe him, expecting this to be just another trick by the guards. After assuring them that it was real and that they would be paid for their time, the prisoners finally believed Zimbardo and began to celebrate. However, the day would still be long as Zimbardo would conduct a debriefing with the guards and prisoners, detailing their experiences before being asked to send in personal retrospective by mail. The participants were also invited to return the following week for an interview, again detailing their experiences, this time probably a lot more sane and well-rested. I did leave out a lot in this. They started denying prisoners to the bathroom and making them use buckets and shit.
Oh.
Yeah, I thought I did throw that in, but I guess not. So, what did the Stanford Prison Experiment prove?
People are dicks.
Yeah. Honestly, you give people power and they're assholes.
Huh, whatever think.
Yeah. You tell people your vote matters and see what happens. Well, Zimbardo concluded that the actions of the guards and prisoners were a result of an actual simulated prison experience. The results would be compatible with the Milgram experiment, proving that, given the situation, people act when instructed by someone they deemed above them. Other researchers who have studied the experiment have said that because only some guards display sadistic activities, the experiment shows how a situation does not technically influence a person's behavior. The only real positive thing that come out of the experiment is it did actually help change how prisons are run in the United States. Several psychologists have talked down on the experiments. In 2002, BBC actually recreated the experiment in what I assume was a way more controlled environment. However you want to look at the Stanford Prison Experiment, it was definitely a very notable experiment that is still studied in psychology classes today. Me, personally, I think this just proves that given power, some people will be assholes about it. Some people will become sullen, quiet blobs, and they'll feel helpless. A third of the guards became sadistic pricks, while some of the prisoners would comply and others would defy. Zimbardo was happy with his findings and would publish a story of the experiment in several psychology journals and even the New York Times. I think this guy's an asshole, but that's kind of just me. Thanks for letting me get real long-winded about the experiment, and special thanks to the friends who suggested I do the experiment while putting a different one to bed, so to speak. One day we'll cover the Russian sleep experiment, trying to make full-send super soldiers of our own. But next week... Yeah, I thought I was clever. But next week, I'll go back to our bread and butter not asylum with Athens Lunatic Asylum in Athens, Ohio.
Well, that was neat.
Yeah.
What a dicks.
Yeah, there's a lot, I left out.
So,
but the whole thing is just fucking crazy.
Would anyone be opposed to me naming this episode People Are Dicks?
Well, go for it.
It seems like a theme. Stalkers, government just poisoning people.
Just let me proofread it first.
Okay. I'll think about it. All right. Now, I should probably proofread my stuff here. But that will wrap it up here for us, the Full Send Rejects. We hope you had a good time listening to us ramble on our topics this week of how people are dicks. Don't trust the government. Watch out for stalkers. And, don't always sign for experiments because you don't know what's going to happen. We will see you guys next week where they'll be covering the death of Abdul Wali, the Athens Lunatic Asylum, and Aquarius season. Are you still doing Aquarius next week?
Yeah.
All right. In the meantime, don't forget to follow us on our socials and on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. Thank you for listening, and as always, full fucking send it.
Fucking send it.